We are back with Highly Defensive, and not just a normal episode. To me, this is a highly defensive main event. What I mean by that is this is a matchup that has two of the very best, duking it out to see who was the greatest defender of all time. And we will do some more of these in the future, as I'll be looking at Hakeem Olajuwon versus Bill Russell in the next installment. But today, we discuss two of the most elite perimeter defenders in NBA history. Two of the most iconic names, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. Both players anchored the defensive schemes of the Chicago Bulls dynasty, winning 6 championships together, while shutting down some of the greatest offensive players of their era. While Jordan was known for his elite on-ball defense, relentless intensity, and ability to disrupt passing lanes, Pippen was regarded as one of the most versatile, switchable, and suffocating defenders ever to play the game. The question remains, who was the better defender? To answer this, we will compare Jordan and Pippen across 6 key defensive categories: defensive accolades, defensive statistics, on-ball defense, off-ball defense and help defense, defensive versatility and role in team defense, and finally, clutch defensive performances. So sit back, relax, and get ready for highly defensive Michael Jordan versus Scottie Pippen. But first, if you enjoy NBA breakdowns and analysis, please subscribe to the channel. We are working for that 2,000 sub mark and can't do it without you guys. Also, check out the GOATcast podcast, streaming live every week with guests and some wild takes. Thank you, and now let's get into this. Accolades are an essential measure of a player's defensive dominance, reflecting how their defense was perceived during their era. Michael Jordan was a 1-time Defensive Player of the Year in 1988, 9-time NBA All-Defensive First Team, 3-time NBA Steals Leader, led the NBA in defensive win shares 5 times. Scottie Pippen had 10 NBA All-Defensive Team selections, 8 First Team, 2 Second Team. Jordan's Defensive Player of the Year gives him an edge as Pippen never won the award. Both players made multiple All-Defensive First Teams, but Pippen has one more total All-Defensive Team selection. Jordan's 3 steals titles show his dominance in creating turnovers. So the edge goes to Michael Jordan. While defense isn't always quantifiable, certain key stats help illustrate each player's defensive impact. Jordan has higher steals per game, but Pippen matches him in steal percentage. Pippen has a slightly better defensive rating and more defensive win shares, indicating his overall defensive longevity. Pippen had a better block percentage despite playing on the perimeter more. This proves how valuable both these guys were on defense. Just a few points separate them in almost all categories. So this is going to be a tough call, but I have to give the slight edge to Scottie Pippen. Better defensive longevity. Michael Jordan was an elite lockdown defender on opposing guards and wings, extremely quick hands, allowing him to pickpocket ball handlers, although he did gamble quite a bit during his days with the Chicago Bulls. Used his strength and physicality to pressure players and force tough shots. One of the best perimeter defenders in ISO situations due to his lateral quickness and anticipation. Famous for shutting down Clyde Drexler, Gary Payton when he actually defended him, and Reggie Miller. On the contrary, Scottie Pippen could shut down elite scorers from point guards to power forwards, had a 7'3" wingspan that allowed him to contest shots without fouling, could disrupt opposing playmakers and force them into bad decisions, played a key role in defending Magic Johnson in the 1991 NBA Finals, slowing him down after Jordan initially struggled, mostly due to foul trouble. Jordan was a more relentless, in-your-face, on-ball defender, suffocating guards with his quickness and physicality. Pippen, however, had better length and could guard a wider range of positions, including power forwards. But a slight edge goes to Michael Jordan, more disruptive and intense when playing on-ball. As far as off-ball defense, Michael Jordan was elite at jumping passing lanes and getting steals that led to transition points. He read offensive plays in advance, anticipating passes before they happened. Had explosive recovery speed, allowing him to contest shots even if beaten initially. As far as Scottie Pippen, he was one of the best help defenders of all time, capable of closing out on shooters and rotating effectively. Had elite timing in double teams, often forcing turnovers. more disciplined off ball, focusing on team defense rather than taking risks. Jordan was more aggressive off ball, but Pippen was more disciplined and team-oriented. Pippen's rotations and help defense were legendary, while Jordan's steal instincts and quick recoveries were unmatched. But I have to give the edge to Scottie Pippen due to superior team defense and rotation. Michael Jordan's defensive versatility. Primarily guarded shooting guards and small forwards, occasionally switched on to point guards, but rarely guarded bigger forwards. More focused on disrupting perimeter scorers than anchoring team defense. As far as Scottie Pippen goes, he could legitimately guard all 5 positions. Guarded Magic Johnson in the 1991 finals and was often tasked with stopping elite big wings like Grant Hill, one of the best switchable defenders in NBA history. Pippen's ability to guard positions 1 through 4 and sometimes 5 makes him one of the most versatile defenders ever. Jordan was more focused on shutting down backcourt players, whereas Pippen could neutralize multiple positions. So a slight edge to Scottie Pippen, due to his unmatched defensive versatility. Michael Jordan's most clutch defensive moment was the game-winning steal on Karl Malone in Game 6 of the 1998 Finals, setting up the shot. He had numerous late-game steals and stops, including clutch defensive plays against the Knicks, Jazz, and Pacers. In the 1989 playoffs, he shut down Cavaliers guard Craig Elo in crunch time. As far as Scottie Pippen's clutch defensive moments, in 1991 in the NBA Finals, he took over defensive duties on Magic Johnson, neutralizing the Lakers' offense. In 1994, without Jordan, led the Bulls in defensive intensity, including an iconic block against Charles Smith. In 1998 Eastern Conference Finals, he shut down Mark Jackson and Reggie Miller, limiting the Pacers' offensive flow. Jordan had game-winning defensive plays in high-stakes games. Pippen's defensive takeovers over entire series were more impactful. Even though Jordan had game-winning defensive plays in high-stakes games, Pippen's defensive takeovers over entire series, I would say, were more impactful. But with this one, I'm going to cop out and say it was a tie. Jordan had more iconic plays, but Pippen had more sustained defensive dominance. So who was the better defender? Michael Jordan was the better on-ball defender and more disruptive in steals. Scottie Pippen was the more versatile, team-oriented, and switchable defender. Pippen was arguably more impactful over a full game, but Jordan was more dominant in critical moments. So ultimately, who wins? I gotta go with Scottie by a slight margin due to versatility and team defense. Don't break out the torches for me. By no means is this calling Michael Jordan a worse defender. When you look at their roles, it makes sense that Pippen would be the guy to focus more on defense for a full 48 due to Mike's role as a scorer. Also, I'm not saying Jordan took plays off. I'm simply saying that Pippen, due to his versatility, was often chosen to guard certain guys or be the focal point of certain schemes to alleviate Jordan having to tussle with bigger forwards. I understand also that Jordan guarded the tougher perimeter threat more times in the playoffs when they won championships, 8 times to 7. But this isn't a piece on their careers solely on the Bulls, as Pippen had solid defensive performances with Houston and Portland. I'm sure some will not like the verdict, but I judge this as unbiasedly as possible, and the fact that I'm a Jordan fan, I nearly copped out and called it a tie, but felt that was just a little too disingenuous for my liking. But what do you all think? Do you believe Pippen was the better defender, or am I shortchanging Jordan? Let me know in the comments section below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. On the road to 3,000 subs, and can't do it without you guys. Thank you, and be back soon with more content and definitely more highly defensive. Thank you.